Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Is he a world-class MLS striker? I don't think he is. And the reason why I think that some players aren't performing to their best ability is purely because there is no fear of them losing their place.
NERevsUK.
All things Revolution from a UK perspective.
Hello everybody, it's me Mike and this is the NERevsUK podcast, all things Revolution from a UK perspective, back with the first podcast of 2019. So, what has been going on with myself? I've been good. How have you all been? Hope you had a great, festive period, great Christmas, New Year's, all that kind of good stuff. So if you are new to the podcast or series or YouTube channel, wherever you're listening or watching this, then welcome. Make sure you don't, you drop a subscription, a follow, or whatever. I don't know what you're listening to, but yeah, any support would be greatly appreciated. Obviously, if you do wish to share this around the other people that are fellow New Revolution supporters, that would be very much appreciated as well. So, are we going to look at 2018? No, we're not. We're not going to look back over that season because it's been done much better than what I could have done it. Loads of podcasts out there and blogs as well from very well respected people in the community. I will link some in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube to some of the content that you can go and listen to about the review of the 2018 season. All I'm going to say was it ended with a bit of a whimper, to be perfectly honest. We started the season strong and then just couldn't see it through, and for multiple reasons. One being there was no plan B, but we're not going to kind of dwell on that. 2018 has finished. We need to look forward now to this 2019 season. So in today's episode, we are kind of just going to be looking around the Revolution news, what's been going on, any transfers, talk about my opinions on those, ins and outs, and any other news that has obviously came out of the Revolution camp. So first of all, we'll delve into the world of transfers in and out. There's been a little bit of movement in the Revolution camp as of recently. Obviously, we had the Super Draft as well. We'll talk about that and my scoring on how I thought the Revolution did in the draft picks, as well as obviously the final transfers and any rumours, because there's a lot of rumours going around, and we're going to be perfectly honest at the moment with anything to do with the Revolution. We seem to be signing God knows every player on the planet at the moment. But on the outs, so we've obviously had a lot of change. Brad talked about obviously players not having the right mentality. He says mentality a lot. So we kind of thought that with that being said, that obviously there'll be wholesale changes. Now, there has been a few that have gone out that, which is a great start, but I still don't feel it's at the level where we kind of, as wholesale changes we thought it would be. We are still left with a lot of players who we thought might not be there, and they still are. Gabriel Somi is one of those players. Didn't fit in with the whole philosophy and style that Brad wanted to utilise, although you would have thought with the kind of pedigree that he had that he would have been a good fit for the system. He wasn't playing at all towards the back end of the season, wasn't even making the bench. He's a player that's wanted by clubs in Sweden. That deal looks like it could be done very, very soon. I believe he's just recently, or he's coming. He spoke about his time at the Revolution as well. I've not really got any details on that at the moment, but I believe the Bent Musket has done a piece on that. So again, I'll link that in the description down below if you're listening or watching on YouTube. If not, just search the Bent Musket on Google and you'll find their website. Very, very good source of Revolution news. But yeah, so he looks like he's going to be on the way out. If not, is it a bad thing if we keep Somi? For me, at the moment, it's not ideal, purely because of the wages he's taking, the slots that he's taking. It's not ideal for the Revolution. However, with the addition of one of the new signings we've got in, we still, if we lose Somi, we still have only really got one player who can naturally play at left back. So unless we are looking to bring, a young player in that is going to be the future left back for the Revolution, at the moment I kind of think we almost have to keep Somi. Diauna's on now. Diauna's gone. He's gone to Portland, so we haven't even got that option there anymore. He's not going to be an option, although I wouldn't like to play him there because he's not a left back. Obviously, Callum Rowe, he's now gone as well. So we've basically got We've got one natural left back, and we've got no options of people who possibly could start in there other than Brandon Bye. And I've heard a lot of people talking bad about Brandon Bye, which kind of felt was a little bit harsh because He's not a left back. He's not a natural left back. He's playing out of position, and I think he did an okay job, considering he wasn't a left back. Yes, it shouldn't be probably that different from playing right back, but you know, we've seen that he's probably more of a right attacking mid, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think that's where we'll potentially see him moved eventually. But it'd be good to learn his trade as a defensive, just so he's got that kind of mindset of actually tracking back and defending. Because what we don't want to see is, in a few years' time, Brandon Boyd being a first choice right midfielder, and him just not tracking back and defending. At least he'll have that kind of understanding in his brain. But yeah, it kind of makes sense to me that at the moment that we keep him, although it's a lot of negatives against him for the time being. What I don't know what your thoughts on it are, but losing another left back for me at the moment just doesn't seem like the best idea. Although I do want him not at the club anymore. I can't stress that enough. I don't want to see him at the Revolution. I think he's taking up too many resources and isn't offering a lot in return. But saying that though, who knows? This season could be completely different. We could see the Gabriel Somi that obviously that Brad and his scouting team seen that made us want to buy into it. But who knows? But other transfers out, obviously I mentioned already. Obviously Diana, he's gone now. Great. He's obviously wages were already off the book anyway, because we didn't re-sign him at the start of the season. Now he's gone though. He's no longer a Revolution player. Good move from the Rev. Well, not the best move. Obviously, I think on the fact that we bought him in as the highest paid defender. I think it was a bad move all round. Never really showed the potential he could have done. And bit of a bum buy, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Glad that he's kind of that's done now, because I kind of feel that he was I imagine he was a bit of a player that possibly dragged morale down within the club. Wasn't the right player to kind of have around at that time. So good that that's one player on the way. Other player to obviously see leave. One of my personal favourites, and I know he's a very kind of Marmite player, really. You either love him or you don't rate him. That's Callum Rowe. For me, I just feel really sorry for the lad, because we kind of seen towards the Jay Heap era, at the back end of he was getting into the men's national team. He was playing very well for the Revolution. It just didn't fit the style that Brad wanted him to play. And to be fair, to be perfectly honest, to Brad, obviously he did try to squeeze him in. But if you think about this from a point of the player's perspective, take away which player it is. It's not Callum Rowe, it's just a generic player. If your strongest position might be attacking midfield central, so you might be that number 10 slot, right? If you're then during the build up to the match, you're playing in that slot, then all of a sudden you get told 2 days before you're playing left back, so next 2 training sessions we're going to be playing you in left back. Great. Obviously, he wants minutes. He's going to say yes. I'm ready. I'll do what's needed for the team. But he's not had time to kind of link up that kind of style of play with Pinilla. He's not been working in, week out. He doesn't know particularly well, when Christian wants the ball, where he's going to run to in certain incidents. It must be really hard for him to judge and gel with the team if he's being thrown in all these different positions. So, at some points he's playing midfield central, sometimes he's playing number 10 role, sometimes he's playing out on the right, sometimes he's playing left back. It must be quite hard for him to gel with the players around him. Yes, being a professional athlete, you should, that should be something that you should be able to do fairly well. And, I don't think he ever had an absolute terrible game for the Revolution. I just also, on the back of that, don't think he ever had a particular good game for the Revolution. There was glimpses, but, it was never the kind of, back end of Jay Heap's era that we didn't see that Callum Rowe. So I think it's a huge bummer. I personally really like him as well, and I do wish him well. And I'm sure he will do well in the right setup, in the right thing where he's played in the right position with the right players around him. He's going to perform. He's already shown that he can do it. I think obviously him and Lee Win had a good connection. Lee Win obviously left the Revolution, and yeah, that is kind of like a snowballing effect really for him. So that one, I'm kind of a little bit bummed out. Did we get a bad deal for Callum Rowe though? No. Did we get a good deal for Callum Rowe? I think yes. It wasn't a great deal, but it wasn't a bad deal either. I think it was just a good deal. Could have we got better? Yeah, we obviously could have got better in the future. No, it's not. In the past, we definitely could have got better for him. But for the time and what we got in return was, something we needed to fill left back. We got Castillo in. At the time, I was a bit like, I don't understand it. But looking, I've had obviously time to kind of look into it and do a little bit more digging. And yes, I do actually think it's a good bit of business from the Revolution. You know, Callum wasn't fitting the system. He wasn't being utilised in the right way. He wasn't going to fit the system that Brad wants to play. You know, we might as well look to get rid of him and, you know, bring in a player who we desperately needed. Is Castillo our answer for left back for the next few seasons? I think he probably is, yes. Is he the future? No, obviously he's not. His age is on his side. But is he a good, experienced MLS left back? Yes, and it's exactly what we needed. So other players obviously to be brought in as well. Fernando Casido Benitez, I think is his full name, but we're just going to call him JFC for short. Looks like a pretty good deal, to be perfectly honest. So I was kind of looking back at what fans were saying about him from his previous clubs, and it looked like he had a few seasons where he was almost labelled a donkey. Very much, although he still looks a very clumsy player, he just kind of looks like a player who probably shouldn't really be playing football at some point in his career. And I've watched some highlight reels, and yeah, there definitely is case to cause that, you know, concern. However, in the last few seasons, again, although I still would say it's clumsy, he seems to have a knack. Which again, this is obviously just a good footballing brain to be in the right position at the right time. Fair enough, he may not always make the cleanest connections. You know, it may bobble up and bounce off his left shin, but he's scoring goals, and that's what we need. We just need a poacher. We're going to have hopefully a number 10 behind him doing, and you know, the two wingers doing all of this kind of creative stuff. We don't need a creative forward. We need somebody who just knows, you know, to be in the box at the right time, to be in the right place, and just know how to score a goal by any means necessary. Just score as goal. We need somebody who's consistently scoring goals for us. Could Juan Agudelo be that player? To be fair, I do think he could be. And obviously he signed a contract extension, so it looks like Brad is going to utilise him. I hope he's not going to put him out on the right wing, because I would just love to see Juan given a full season up top with the same three behind him, and seeing how consistent, or even if we're going two up top with both of them, you know, just some consistency in that, you know, front line, just so they can start linking together. We've seen how good it was when Diego and Pinilla started linking together. You know, they started, you know, really gelling together, and just if we kind of keep it the same people, you know, but it needs to be the right people, and I do think we're starting to build something good in the Revolution camp. So it's all pleasing to see. So far, obviously, transfer wise, I think it's not been too bad in terms of what we've bought in, and I've sort of released, apart from obviously the fact that I love Callum Rowe. Obviously we've then bought in I keep saying obviously a lot. I didn't realise until I'm just now thinking I'm just said obviously probably about 17 times in a row. Well, the Super Draft has a few weeks ago now. For some reason, the MLS homepage or whatever it was, reporter wrote it up, gave us a pretty shocking grade, in my opinion. I don't understand how. I think, was it a C? Was it a B? I don't know. Basically, we did. I think it was a C we got, didn't we? I don't understand, because we got Buchanan, who was predicted in a lot of mock drafts to be, you know, first and top three, and we got him in at the 9th slot. I don't understand how that's not a win for the Revolution. We then got Jones as well, another great pick. It's kind of similar of last year's draft, but in two similar players, you know, very athletic, kind of will suit the Frieda way. I don't know if the rival for the places is identical. From what I've seen, though, I think Buchanan's more versatile than Jones. But again, it's going to be great in a few years' time. Them to be able to push the likes of Diego and stuff is only good for the team, because you know we'll kind of cover off the draft bit, and then we'll quickly talk about. I'm going to go into a bit of a rant, to be perfectly honest. Buchanan and Jones, I think they're both great. They're both very similar. I'm the opposite to everyone else. I think that Buchanan will be the player if any of those two break through this season. I think it's going to be Buchanan that's going to break through. Everyone else seems to think it's going to be Jones. I think Jones is going to be the player who, hopefully, either way, if they're not going to get minutes and the MLS at all, even during cup games, they both need to be playing. They need minutes this season, so hopefully we'll make utilisation of the USL teams, and they'll be going out on loan, because they definitely need minutes, time to develop. But I think Buchanan's going to be the player who is going to be the player who potentially is going to get minutes for the Revolution this season. The reason being is because of just how versatile he is. He offers a lot in different, you know, aspects of where he can play. So to have him on the bench, a player gets injured, he could potentially slot anywhere in that kind of front second third of the pitch. He's going to be able to come on and do a job there. So Buchanan probably could as well. Jones probably could as well, but just from the read-ups and stuff that I've got, I think Buchanan's the more versatile of the two players. But saying that, I'd probably say that, easily for me, 8 out of 10 for Buchanan and a 7 out of 10 for Jones. I think they're both great future prospects for the club, and I wish them luck in their season, no matter where they are, kind of thing. Hopefully they'll both be with the Revolution pushing players for places. If not, then they've got to be out on loan and getting minutes under their belt. Other player that kind of came in was homegrown player Justin Renix, obviously a player that's been much talked about for quite a while now, died off a little bit and then came back with a vengeance, and obviously we finally got the deal over the line. Very Revolution of us to just drag this whole thing out, which potentially could have been done pretty quick, I imagine, but great to see him done. Hopefully he'll get some minutes this season, obviously with the fact that we've now got Enkin and Firmino as well. It's just great to see the Revolution, along with Buchanan and Jones, got a lot of depth now in the youth charts in the club, and it's going to be good to see hopefully some of them players get minutes and decent minutes this season and really start to develop this future pool of players we've got for the club, because it does look at the moment, if you think the quality of them players we've got there, the future is pretty bright, I think, for the Revolution. But talking about the future being bright for the Revolution, obviously there is a flip side of that, which means the time at the moment, our current roster, and how happy I am with it. There's still a lot of work to be done. Obviously, we know the first season wasn't Brad's team. This season is starting to kind of shape and mould into a Brad Friedel team. But do I still feel like there's slots to be filled? Yes. Do I think Diego Fernandez, I realise I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, and I always do, is a good player? Yes, I do think he's a good player. Do I think he could do better? Yes. And the reason why I think that some players aren't performing to their best ability is purely because there is no fear of them losing their place. Because for that front line, realistically, if Diego has a bad game, who's going to come in for him? At the moment, if Brad doesn't want to kind of throw the youngsters in, into the Lions' den, what's Diego got to worry about if he has a bad game? Not a lot, really. I mean, yes, there's Teal Bunbury, there's Juan Agudelo who could possibly play on the right and potentially in the number 10 slots, but that's not their natural position either. And to be fair, as much as Teal had a good season last season, he shouldn't, and this is the utmost respect to Teal Bunbury because he is a good football player, but is he a world-class MLS striker? I don't think he is. He's not. And for him to get into our team so easily shows the lack of depth we've got in terms of quality in that attacking line. Now, with the addition of Casado, that's going to be pushing Bunbury and Agudelo now to be performing to the utmost. If they want a starting spot now, they need to play well. So, with that in mind, on the right wing, if this is all hypothetical, because if Diego's playing as the number 10, which hopefully he won't be, on that right wing at the moment, we've got Juan Bunbury and, what the youngsters. And Diego, if you pop him in that bracket. And then in the number 10 slot, we've got the same three players. The issue is that it's just not creating enough competition, natural position selection for Diego. He hasn't really got to worry too much, I don't think, at the moment. So if we brought in a Bojan, a Carlos Heel, then, you've got somebody of high caliber player, well-respected, playing, good European sides, good Premiership sides, who he's going to be thinking like, oh my God, I've got to really start playing now. If we bring in, a number 10 and another right midfielder, he's got to really knuckle down and start putting, and that's when we could start seeing the Diego who easily it could be, because he is a quality player. You can see it. You can see that he has got something special. Oh, I definitely can see he's got something special about him. But I just think it needs to be unlocked within him. He needs pressure put on him. He needs to be able to know that if he has a bad game, he's not going to, he's going to have to fight to get his spot back in the 11. At the moment, I don't think he's worried. He's not worried at all. He's probably one of the first players on the team sheet, if I'm going to be honest. So, yeah, still a lot of work to be done as well defensively. I think, obviously, we still need another left-back. We still need another centre-back, I'm going to be honest, as well. And I know this could probably people will probably say what you're on about. I still feel we need another CDM, because unless Zahibo has a standout season, I don't think we've got enough there. we've got a lot of players who can play that kind of role, but we're not naturally. It's not naturally their game. Zahibo and Casado, yes. But past that, Scotty Caldwell, again, another player who I absolutely love Scotty Caldwell. But I don't think that's his natural position. I think he should be playing slightly more advanced than that. And again, he's not a world-class central defensive midfielder. We should be looking to kind of look at Atlanta United, as much as I hate to say this, and look at their 11 and go, okay, what of our starting 11 could break into that Atlanta United 11? And at the moment, I think we've got to be perfectly honest. I think Pania could maybe make an argument for, but that's it. That's all we've got. Christian Pania. And I understand this is going to be, you know, it's going to take time. It's not going to be a quick fix. There's no quick fix other than Kraft throwing absolutely loads of money at us, which isn't going to, you know, which then sometimes causes its own problems because we're throwing, you know, we're giving stupid salaries to players who probably aren't of the right caliber and are just coming over for the money and they're not giving it their all for the shirt, and you know, it's a whole other place. I think at the moment, the way we actually are doing things is as painful as it is. I do think it is the right thing. We're getting these young players in now, so hopefully we can actually, you know, we're not a team who's going to be able to draw massive names in. We're not until we get our own stadium, at least anyway. But we're not going to be able to draw massive players in. So why don't we develop our own superstars? It's there. The training facility is being built. This can be done. Yes, it's probably going to take 2 or 3 seasons. But we've been, as Revolution fans, we've been used to this for some time now. So yeah, I think it's going to be a long journey. I don't think this season's going to be. We could sneak. My prediction is we could possibly sneak in, and if we get the, you know, additions of some of the rumours that are flying around, then maybe, you know, we might be a bit more comfortable. But I think we possibly could sneak, especially as it's now 7 slots, into the playoffs this season. But I don't think we'll go much further than the wild card. You know, perfectly honest, I think, you know, I think it'll be a bit much to ask for them. But we'll see. We've still got obviously a while left before we start the season. The roster's locked in and everything, and a lot could happen. There's a lot of rumours flying around that said Bojan and Carlos Heel. I swear it's pronounced Heel, but it's actually Jill. But yeah, so it's quite an exciting time, I would actually say, to be a Revolution fan at the moment. There's a lot happening and a lot of really, really good stuff. So there's a lot of positives to take away from it. But also we've got to remember that at the moment our team just isn't there. But that's not a bad thing because we are hopefully developing. As long as Brad gets this right, we get a plan B locked in for this season. That we're not just all about the high press, because everyone figured that out, and that's when the season started dipping, because we had no other, we just hadn't worked on anything else that we got figured out, and then we had no plan B. So, but I think it's an exciting time to be a Revolution fan, and I'm really happy for the support and everything that you guys out there have given me, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good old season. So I look forward to sharing some good times with you over the 2019 season. But I've rambled on for far too long anyway, as it is. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. If you have, then don't forget to show support by liking, sharing, all that kind of good stuff. And I will catch you next Monday for the next one.